CEO Ronald Hickliffe from Creating the Difference. I want to talk to you briefly about calluses and bowling, what to look for, and kind of what it means. This is a little bit of information about myself. I'm a degreed mechanical engineer. I'm a certified coach. I've been in bowling more than half my life, and I've designed bowling balls for a bowl company for about 15 years. One of the things I wanted to bring up is this is actually a little section of a pro shop course that we have that is 3 days long. And the reason why I did this was because our staff actually started posting pictures in the group of their thumbs and their fingers and calluses. And I was like, man, we should probably maybe give them some information about calluses and what to look for and what to consider and how to fix them. So I wanted to put together something really short, brief for you guys to look at, and then be able to, hopefully get some insider information if you've got pain in your hand while you're bowling. This right here is a picture of the CtD Education Center in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and we do pro shop training there as well as coaching. So if you're interested in any of that, just head on over to our website, ctdbowling.com, and check out the CtD Education Center tab and get more information on that. So we're going to talk about calluses. Calluses can develop no matter how good the fit is. I've got some friends that are professional bowlers. They bowl hundreds of games to thousands of games a year, and when they have calluses, they tend to be very small, and they don't hurt at all, which that's a real big deal. So calluses aren't necessarily a bad thing, but in a lot of cases, you need to make sure that you understand what kind of callus you have. What they are is they're really the body's way of reacting to friction and pressure on the hand by building up some dead skin around the area that's getting abraded, so to speak. Like I said, there are good calluses and bad calluses. Good calluses don't hurt. They're not painful. They typically tend to be near the finger pads or in the palm, the pad portion of the palm of the hand. Now, bad calluses, they tend to be painful. They can have pockets of fluid in them. They don't stretch, which that's a big one. If the callus doesn't stretch, that's a real good sign that you've got some problems going on there. Or they typically can be caused by a bad fit or a change in the release. So here's an example of where we're showing where a person may have calluses on their hand. And in this particular case, we're going to talk about, what is that? What creates that? So if you've got calluses in this portion, one of the potential reasons could be excessive left or right pitch. And pitch is really just the angle that the hole is drilled in the ball. The holes aren't drilled straight into the ball. They're actually angled when the pro shop drills the ball. So if you've got too much left or too much right, you can create some pressure. That pressure can turn into calluses on the fingers like you're seeing here. Also, it could be that the holes or the grips are just too tight, which creates the same problem. Now, in this case, you can see now that we're talking about above that first crease area. So above the first crease area, if you've got calluses there, that could be an indication that your span is just too long. It's just too long, you're overstretched. Or the hole is too tight. The hole is too tight, or the insert, the grip is too tight. So if you've got calluses in that area, you may want to have your pro shop take a peek and see if maybe any of those could be potential reasons why you're having the calluses there. Last but not least, you could have excessive forward pitch, which is another direction that the hole's drilled in, and that can create this problem for bowlers as well. Now, in this particular picture, you can see that those callus or those marks now, calluses are actually below that crease line, which is kind of interesting, because that's an indication that the span is actually too short. So the opposite of the last slide we just showed you. If your inserts are wore out, your grips are wore out, that's a big deal. You want to make sure you check to make sure that your grips aren't worn out, because once they wear out, it's really easy for you to get your fingers in a little bit deeper, which can then create these calluses on your hands. So you want to make sure that you keep fresh grips in your bowl. I recommend that you probably get your grips at least checked at least every 60 to 100 games because you can wear them out. If you wear them out, just get them changed out. Now here you've got some on the thumb. This is kind of 3 different spots on the thumb that you can develop calluses, and some of the causes for it are excessive reverse pitch. The span can actually be too short, or it can be too long, just kind of depending on some of the other factors going on with your hand. And if the holes are too big, that'll cause you to kind of knuckle the ball a little bit. You'll bend that joint, and that'll create the friction that gets all the rubbing on your hand. This is kind of a popular one where it's actually on the web of the hand, and the reason for that can be the same. The span can be too short or too long. It's an indication that your hole may need more bevel. Bevel is kind of the rounding of the hole. It's meant to help protect your hand from getting cut up, and people typically don't bowl with super sharp edges for that reason. It also could mean that the hole is just too big, which is causing you to squeeze, and the squeeze is creating the friction on your thumb in that particular area, which all these things can be rectified by a qualified pro shop. Now here's an interesting one. You've got one on the tip and then kind of on that pad area of the palm. So what this kind of indicates is that the finger is being used to support the wrist. This happens for guys or girls that really like to cup the balls. They really get underneath the ball and they really want to get around it pretty quick. You can create some friction on those two spots. And the interesting thing with that is it's not necessarily a bad thing unless it's hurting you. You know, your hand's not supposed to hurt. So if you got callus there, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Just, make sure you're not in pain with doing it. Here's another example of some thumb potential issues. We've got spot A and spot B. Spot A can be that the span would be too short, or that you've got too much reverse pitch in the thumb, which means that hole's drilled at an angle that is excessive than what it should be. B is that you've got excessive left pitch in the ball, or that the hole is just too small. Now on the sides of the thumb, this is an interesting one that happens a lot too. It could be just because of lack of flesh, lack of actual skin between, that first and second thumb joint. The hole could be too tight. And then this is kind of a big one. A lot of times people will have a round hole drilled in their ball, but the hole should be oval. Now, just stop for a second, take a look at your thumb front to back, and look at it side to side. Does that look round to you? If it doesn't look round to you, which it more than likely doesn't, then you definitely shouldn't have a round hole in your bowling ball. It should be oval. If it's oval, then see those wear marks, the black marks, they won't be there because the hole will properly fit. That's a real good way to tell if you've gotten a round hole and it should be oval and you've got a callus on your hand. Here's another potential spot for calluses. This can be created from excessive right pitch or the hole being too small as well. So kind of to summarize it, what we're saying here, your hand's not supposed to hurt when you're bowling. So if your hand hurts, please, please, please go to a qualified pro shop, have them take a look at it, and have them see if they can make some changes to get your hand not to hurt. Hurting and bowling are not supposed to go together. Also, if you have a pro shop that you go to, maybe have them reach out to us for some more information about our pro shop training course. We do offer pro shop training courses to the bowling community. We want to be able to help as many pro shops as we possibly can. And we've got a lot of information that we will be happy to share with them. And a lot of that information will hopefully allow them to make you a better bowler. Also, if you're watching this, maybe you should consider joining our staff for free. You can just go to the website, ctdbowling.com. You can click on the left-hand side. You'll see a drop-down menu, and on that menu, you'll see free regional staff. That allows you to get into a private group with us, and in that group, you're allowed to talk to coaches, myself as well, and a whole lot of other people that are there to help you. It's really a good opportunity if you want to get better at bowling for free to be able to leverage that resource. And then last but not least, if you've got more questions or if your pro shop has questions, just have them send us an email at help@ctdbowling.com. So hopefully this was helpful and give you a little bit of information and thought about what you can expect if you've got some calluses on your hand. And as always, if you have more questions or need more information, you know where to go. You can check out that help@ctdbowling.com. And on behalf of Creating the Difference, my name is Ronald Hicklin. Hopefully you guys have a great day.